read looking at several verses through this chapter 14. But for tonight, for consideration, verse number 31.
Amen.
Exodus chapter number 14. Verse 31. Reading out of the King James Version Bible, you'll find these words written. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians. And the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, God's process for our deliverance. That's what I'm going to talk about. God's process for our deliverance. What is a process? A process is a series of actions. Process is a series of natural occurrences. A process. Things that happens in order to get certain things. It has to go through a process. You don't just cake just don't come into existence. Cake goes through a process. Life is a what? Process. Y'all with me? And then deliverance. What does deliverance mean? Deliverance means release, escape, to set or let free. Deliverance. Now I think one thing that we all have in common is that we all go through processes and that we all desire deliverance. Life, as you know it, is full of unavoidable challenges, therefore causing us to go through constant processes of desiring or in need of deliverance. Every stage of life, the area where we need deliverance. And so since we know this is true, we all deal with a series of actions, whether it is natural, whether it is spiritually designed. It would be wise for us to note this teaching tonight, because if you take it in, it'll help change your life. See, the children of Israel were on their way out of captivity after some 400 and really almost 30 years. They were on their way out. This is where the word Exodus come from. They were on their way out of Egypt. Now, picture it if you will. At this time, Pharaoh had been through much. Plagues, really 9 plagues, had plagued Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's heart was constantly hardened. Finally, those of you who know the story, Pharaoh's son died. And thus the Lord softens Pharaoh's heart enough for him to set the entire nation of Israel free. Now millions of people are on their way out, following one man by the name of Moses. Get the picture. Now they're carrying as much as they can. They got sheep, they got oxen, they got gold, they got as much as they can carry. They're on their way out. Now Moses is under the direction of God. God led him into Egypt, and now God is leading the people through him out of Egypt. So to the people, since they have not been praising God for over 400 years, understand now, they were still had a form of godliness. But after 400 years, they had started taking on these idol gods. They had started seeing what the Egypt. If you start hanging around people long enough, you'll start emulating. And after 400 years, generation after generation, people had lost their true connection to God. And when a man like Moses came in, he was doing miracles. And now he had brought deliverance. So the people's eyes was not so much on God as their eyes was on who? Moses. So now Moses become their God. Now be careful when you make a man your God. My God. Come on now. Now, what we'll find is that God directed Moses. He said, listen, I will lead you by a cloud by day in the direction in which I want you to go, and a pillar of fire by night. Yes, sir. Now this brings us to our text. The children of Israel, they were on their way out by the millions. Say that, by the millions. See, you have to get the gravity of how large this exodus was. So that means they had lines miles long. Okay? And some was walking. Little wagons, children, old people. They were dragged, you understand? So they weren't moving real fast. And after they got outside of the city, it looks as if that Moses had led them to a dead end. They come to the Red Sea. Now, they had mountains on each side of the sea. So they couldn't go right, nor could they go left. And now God had hardened Pharaoh's heart again. Yes, come on now. And Pharaoh has made his mind up now that he's going to destroy all of the people that he just let go. Do you get the picture? So now Pharaoh's army is behind him. Israel is sitting at the Red Sea. They can't go backwards because Pharaoh is behind them. They can't go to the right. They can't go to the left. And it looks like they can't go forward because there's nothing but water in front of them. But what they didn't realize, that this was part of the process of their deliverance. Yes, sir. Sometimes God will place you in a position that it seems like there's no way out, but that is a part of the process of you learning how to trust and believe in Him. Because deliverance comes when you trust God. Am I making some sense? Now, the first thing that I see is in verse number 8, Exodus chapter 14, verse number 8. The Bible says this. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And he pursued after the children of Israel. And the children of Israel went out with an high hand. Listen, and they went out what? With a high hand. Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, God's plan for deliverance. Now I understand, see, when God delivers us, we get happy. But we don't realize that deliverance comes with a process. The Bible says that when they got free, they started coming out with their hands up, praising God. But you're going to find out later, those same hands that were praising God was cursing God. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Man. Not because God was not bringing deliverance, but because they had a problem with the process of the deliverance. Am I making some sense? Yes, ma'am. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you might not like taking castor oil, but it works everything out. You just got to take the taste. Amen. Yes, sir. And a lot of things that God takes us through, it don't taste good. Talk hard, and I believe I will. Let me say the process. Now, in order and understand that Moses was not God.
Yes, sir. Sure you right. Sure you right.
He had to harden the heart of Pharaoh again.
Yes, sir.
He hardened Pharaoh's heart 9 consecutive times.
Yes, he did.
Lord Jesus. Oh, yes.
And then he unhardened.
Come on.
And he let the people go.
Yes,
And then he hardened it again
yes, yes,
Oh, yes.
to put Pharaoh behind him.
yes, yes.
They never say that was part of the process.
All in the process. Man.
You mean to tell me it's part of my process for the devil to pursue me? Yes.
Yeah.
Because if the devil wouldn't pursue you, all you would be doing is praising your head and not trusting God. They went out on a high, but if they were really trusting God when the army was behind them, they still could have praised God.
All right, man.
But instead of them praising God, they started blaming Moses.
Yes, yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Moses, you brought us out here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I making some sense?
Oh, yes.
You see, a whole lot of things that's behind you is a part of the process to bring you to a deliverance. See, you got to learn to trust God. And you won't learn to trust God without some resistance in your life.
Yes, sir.
And what'll make you trust God more is when the devil is behind you. And it don't look like you got nowhere to go.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
And they say, you start trusting God. See, after you get past blaming other folks, you realize can't nobody get you out.
Yeah. That's it. Nobody.
Then they say, but God.
But God.
Man.
But that was a plan. He hardened Pharaoh's heart. And then he pursues after them.
Yes, sir.
Israel never would have went out with a high hand had they believed Pharaoh was coming.
Man.
Sure you right. Lord Jesus.
Many of us, if we only knew what was coming, we could somehow prepare ourselves.
Yes, sir.
But why don't God let us know
Lord Jesus.
things are coming? Look at you say, because that's part of the process
All in the process.
of your deliverance.
Your deliverance.
Look at verse 13 and 14. Look at verse 13 and 14. And Moses said unto the people, here it is, fear not, stand still,
All right. Yes, sir.
and see the salvation of the Lord,
Yes, sir.
which he will show you today.
Yes, sir.
For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever.
Yep.
And the Lord shall fight for you,
Yes, sir.
and ye shall hold your peace.
Man.
Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor,
There you go.
God's plan for deliverance
Praying for the
and God's promise of deliverance. God promised to me. If God says no weapon formed against you, why are you worried about the weapon?
Come on. That's it.
Come on now.
Show you right. Show you right.
God promised it.
Uh-huh.
You see this behind you?
Uh-huh.
If you trust me,
Trust me.
I didn't bring you out here
Yes, sir.
to die. I could have killed you in Egypt.
Yeah.
Man. Man. That's right.
Y'all better hear what I'm saying. I didn't get you out here to make myself look bad.
Yeah. That's it.
God don't deliver you to make himself look bad. If God delivers you, then God gave you a promise.
Yeah, man.
Man.
Look at them and say, he's going to protect you.
He's going to protect you. Show you right. He promised it.
God don't deliver you and then put you back in the hands of the enemy.
No.
No, he don't.
And in his plan.
Listen. Listen to me. The Bible says they're out there. They look back. They see the enemy coming.
Yes.
The first reaction that we get is we first get what? We get scared.
Yes. Yes.
And when people get scared, what do they start doing? They start running around.
Yes. Yes.
They start missing. Because now they're trying to figure out what can we do. So now you start operating in your own emotion,
Come on now.
your own will, and you forget about how did you get where you are.
Man, that's right. Come on, Bishop. Come on.
You forget about all of the miracles that got you where you are, and now you're seeing them come, and now all of a sudden,
All right now.
Bless the Lord our God.
Speak, Bishop.
look at them say, you forgot about the plan. See, it's a part of the process. Listen to me. God gave them a promise
Yes, sir.
that I'm going to see you through this process.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sure you right.
So look what he does. He says, first thing he tells them, fear not. Now, in order to fear not, they had the faith in.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to say trust in.
Trust me.
See, in order for them to fear not, he was telling them, you're going to have to trust me.
Yeah. That's what he was saying.
See, if somebody tells you to fear not, they obviously telling you, I got this.
Yes.
So he says, fear not. So he says, I need you to trust me.
Yes, sir.
Then he says, stand still.
Stand still. Lord Jesus.
Then he says, stop acting a fool.
Stop acting the fool. Yes, sir. Panic attack.
Because what happens when you start trying to handle what God has control of, you always mess up.
Yes.
Amen.
See, you start getting in the way of what God is trying to do.
Yes.
God's trying to move and you all in the way.
Yes. Yes. Lord.
See, you can't, listen, you can't hear from God if you're constantly here and there worrying about what is in God's hand. He said, fear not.
Fear not. That's right.
So he says, stand still.
Stand still.
What else did he say?
Come on.
He says, and see.
See.
Now he's about to show you something.
He says, listen, I'm going to show you
Show you.
that there's nothing to fear, but you can't see it if you don't stand still.
Amen.
Amen. Right.
See, they say you got to be unmovable.
Unmovable.
He says, stand still.
Stand still.
And he said, and see the salvation of the Lord.
I done seen it.
He said, I am going to fight
I'm gonna
Yes.
do this. It's on me.
for you.
Yes, sir.
All I need you to do. Look at this. All I need you to do
All I need you to do
is hold your peace.
is hold me. Just be quiet.
They never say, shut up.
Just shut up. Every time we talk to you. Lord Jesus.
Did you know God don't need you?
Amen.
Listen, if you're not praising, look at them and say, shut up.
Shut up. Lord Jesus. You need your help.
Listen to me carefully.
Lord Jesus.
He says, I need you
Lord help.
to fear not,
Fear not. Lord Jesus.
stand still,
Stand still.
see the salvation
Lord Jesus.
of the Lord.
Of the Lord. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Come on now.
He's fully persuaded.
Yes.
Say, now I'm going to fight for you. And these Egyptians, these folks you see now,
Yes.
Look at
this that you are afraid of right now, I'm going to deliver you from it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Look at them and say, God is going to deliver me from fear. See, listen, they were afraid. He said, so I'm going to bring deliverance from fear. Because as long as you fear them, you won't trust me.
Yeah, man.
So I got to show you who's the strongest. Since the 9 plagues didn't do it for you, let me eliminate the problem.
Yeah.
And if that don't convince you,
All right. All right. Oh, yeah. Look at God. Lord Jesus.
see, they've been trusting other gods. So he says, now, let me show you. Now that I'm here,
Yeah, man. Real God.
now that I've showed up,
Yeah.
let me show you what true deliverance is like. See, when you're in the favor of God, when God really has you in his hands, you don't have to worry about anything. God got you. Am I making some sense?
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
And so, God's plan of deliverance is part of your process. And his plan is to put things behind you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I received that.
In this life,
Yes.
you shall have
Yes.
trials
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
and tribulation.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I don't think y'all understand what that meant.
Come on, Bishop.
Look at this, say, in this life,
In this life.
folks will always put you on trial. In this life, folk will always put you on trial. Everybody gonna know more about you. And then a trial and jury. And then they're gonna bring tribulation.
Yes, yes, yes. Real preach on, Bishop.
24 hours, dog. 24 hours.
Now they gonna act like they know. Listen to me. In this life, you will have trial. What is a trial?
Come on now, Bishop.
Think they say, you ever been on trial?
What? Lord Jesus.
Y'all know what a trial comes? Look at them say, every trial got judges. Now God specifically told us to judge ye not, except he be judged for the same judgment that he judged shall be added back unto you.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
So here, he's saying to them, look, it's right in the text. He says, I want you to see the salvation. I'm going to fight for you. But you got to hold your peace.
Oh, yes. That's exactly right.
You got to stop giving an opinion about how I should do it.
Yeah, that's it.
He said, but you ain't going to see it no more.
Yeah.
So now what he does to keep the devil off of you, the Bible says that God put a fire
Yes, 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 yes.
Go that fire.
that kept them from getting to them. And then God even made it so bad that he made their chariots run heavy. The wheels fell off.
Look at the bell.
Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. They're coming at the children of Israel.
Took the wheels off.
And the Bible says, you read it, the Bible says that they run heavy. The wheels fell off. The men said,
Yeah.
this is what Pharaoh's men said. The Lord is fighting for them. Listen to me. When you're in the hands of God, even the devil knows God is with you. They might talk about you, they may put trials and tribulation, but even the devil in hell knows. God will let the devil know that he got his hands on you. You never say, Bishop talking this day. Yes, I'm talking.
Yes, sir.
He gives us a promise of deliverance. Look at them and say, neighbor. But not only does God give us a promise, but look at verse 15 and 16. And the Lord said, look at them, now this is not anybody.
No. Ain't the president.
God said now.
God said.
And the Lord said to Moses.
Lord said.
See, Moses wasn't just said. Moses only said to them what God said to him.
Yeah. That's exactly.
How shall you hear without the preacher, and how shall he preach except it be sent? So the Lord said to Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me?
All right.
He said, speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. Now listen,
Lord Jesus.
the Red Sea was in front of them. He said, stop crying to me, Moses. I gave you a stick before you left off the mountain. Listen to me. Everything that Moses needed up until that time, he used the stick.
Yes. Lord Jesus.
Yes, he did.
All the plagues stick.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I see it.
Oh, yes.
Now he complaining to God. Like he don't have nothing.
Yeah.
Moses said, God said, listen, speak to the people.
Yes, speak to them.
Calm them down.
Calm them down.
And tell them, I say, go forward.
Go forward.
Come on now.
How?
Lord Jesus.
Look.
Go forward.
But lift thou up thy rod and stretch out thy hand over the sea
All right, there you go.
and divide.
Yes.
And the children of Israel, watch this, shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea.
Yes, God. My God. My
Stretch
God.
your
My
hands
God.
like that.
Are y'all ready?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor,
Neighbor.
God has a plan.
God has a plan.
God has a promise.
God has a
But God, but look at this, but God also has a path.
God also can. Amen. I receive that, Lord God.
Now, the path doesn't always look clear. It becomes clear.
Yeah.
Come on, Pastor. Come on.
He said, listen, the path wasn't clear when they looked the first time.
No.
But when Moses spoke the path as requested by God,
Yes.
look at them say, a path was made.
Hallelujah. Amen.
Yes, sir.
Look at them and say, you don't have to have a path. God will make one.
God will make me show you right, God. Show you right.
See, the problem with us
Okay?
is that we want to see the path.
Yeah.
God says, you can't pay attention to what I'm about to do before you by looking what's behind you.
Yes.
So the Bible said he sent an east wind,
Yeah.
and it blew, and it begins to make a path
Yeah.
Yes.
for
Have mercy.
the promise.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Look at everything, neighbor.
Neighbor.
The path that God makes for you, your enemy can't come through.
Show you right. Show you right.
Don't you dare pursue me
No, indeed.
when God has delivered me.
Yeah, man.
Y'all better hear what I'm saying. Don't you dare pursue me
No, indeed, Lord.
when God has delivered me.
Got an ambush.
See, God's path of deliverance is created for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Lord Jesus.
My God. My God.
The same path that will deliver you will destroy your enemy.
Yes.
Yes.
I've seen it. Lord Jesus, I've seen
The same people that's trying to destroy you, the thing they're trying to destroy you with, God will destroy them with it.
it. Yeah. Yes, sir. I've seen it.
Be not deceived.
Be not deceived.
God is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. Am I preaching? Look at them say the path. He says, go forward. The Bible says, and he divided the sea. Now, I'm getting ready to close.
Yes, sir.
But here's my shouting point. God has a plan for deliverance. He gives us a promise for deliverance. He prepared a path for deliverance. Look at verse 24 and 25. And it came to pass that in the morning watch, the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. Now, after God had did what he wanted to do, the Egyptians don't know what's going on. Because even God had to look through the crowd. Even God had to be. See, listen, when God is delivering you, he don't allow the enemy to know what's going on the other side. They looking, but they can't see. Y'all better hear what I'm trying to tell you. Even God had to peek through his own work. Y'all understand?
Yes. That's clever. Lord Jesus.
And he troubled them.
Trouble.
They got up trouble, don't know why. And he took off their chariot wheels.
Took them all.
Now that'll slow you down. And they drove them what? Heavy. Can you imagine driving a car with no rims? No wheels on it. Watch this. So that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. Now, how did they know that? Because not one Egyptian took off the wheel. Not one Egyptian put the fire up there. Not one Egyptian was troubling them. They knew couldn't nobody do that but what? Look at one more scripture. Look at verse 31. Verse 31. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians. And the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, God's power of deliverance.
Yes, sir.
See, whenever God gives you a path, God will give you the power. Listen to me, Ted. Listen to me carefully, y'all. Listen to me carefully. That morning, after the children of Israel was almost across,
Almost.
the last person he left enough bait. Y'all didn't hear me. He left enough bait to sucker the enemy into your path.
Lord Jesus.
They never would have went if they didn't see nobody. But they saw. Then they said, they saw you wounded. They saw you weak. But they didn't realize that God's power was on your side. And they tried to come in the same way that God made for you. And once they got in the middle, that's what the Bible said. Once they got in the middle, it's amazing. Pharaoh didn't go.
No. Book of calling himself, he stayed back.
Pharaoh was sitting up on the hill. Get him, boy, get him. Get him, boy. Now them boys was saying, Pharaoh, the Lord fight for you. Better get him or cut your head off. They don't get him. And they went in there. And after the last one was in, that first man was almost to his pride. He was reaching to get you. And just before he got ready to grab you, they never said, you saw God's power.
Hallelujah.
That's how it happened in your life every time. Deliverance comes when you least expect it. The pathway of it, all of a sudden you just look up and you see the salvation of God. Every accident that you ever escaped, it was because of God's power. Y'all don't hear what I'm trying to tell you. Everything was set up for you to survive. Did I make some sense? Yes, sir. You're going to say everything was set up for you to survive and see the power of God. Come on, give God a hand. How many of you enjoyed that word? My God, I'm going to tell you, look at your neighbor and say, God's process for our